Good morning. It's game day. Noon ACC Network. Canes host the Pitt Panthers. Chris Cotter, Mark Herslick, Eric Wood on ACC Network. Joe Z, DBJ, Josh Darrow on 560 The Joe in South Florida. And if you want to listen to the game in Spanish, Alfredo Alvarez, Jose Martinez on Unánimo Deportes in South Florida. Canes have to rebound. You know the deal. Losing to Clemson last week, 42-17. This is going to be our first day game of the year. Noon at Hard Rock. 40th meeting between the Canes and the Pitt Panthers. We lead the all-time series 27-11 and with one tie. And we're 14-5-1 games in South Florida. We've met every year since 2013. Pitt's first year in the conference. Last year up in Pittsburgh, of course, I was there for that in person. We win 16-12. We were behind in the fourth quarter, and we came back to win. Pittsburgh, of course, is led by Kenny Pickett. Don't know if he's playing today. He was questionable as of this recording, but he's had 1,389 yards and 8 touchdowns. And they have a good back at Vincent Davis and Jordan Addison. Davis, 242. Addison, 30 catches, 297. Pittsburgh, of course, defensively, that's what their calling card is. Savosia Dennis, their linebacker, has 31 tackles and 6.5 for loss. And Paris Ford, 2 picks and 31 tackles. When you look at Pittsburgh, you know, they came off a pair of 1-point losses last week on the road against BC and the week before against NC State. I got to tell you, this is a dangerous team we will be facing this afternoon. We know what we're going up against. Remember, these guys gave us everything they could handle last year up there. And we know what we're going up against. You know, he's going to try to do the same thing that Clemson did last week, but I was talking to someone yesterday, said they don't have the corners that Clemson does. No, very few do. But when you look at I'm looking at Pittsburgh's depth chart today. The guy, you know, we're going to have the matchups I'm going to be watching in this game today. When I look at the chart, the guy, of course, Pickett is going to be their guy, obviously. We don't know who the starters are yet. I don't have a depth chart in front of me at this point. Although I could pull that depth chart up now. In fact, our depth chart, we still have the same guys: Pope, Harley, Wiggins starting. But look for a lot of MR3 key in there today. As well as Jeremiah and maybe Dazzlin get some action. As well as maybe Few and X. Probably go today. BJ, not sure if he's going to start, but if not, I get Will in there. But the matchups I'm going to be watching when I look at this. The guy we're going to have to watch it, of course, like I said, for Pitt, is Dennis. And Pitt plays a 4-3, a typical 4-3. Ford's going to line up. Ford sometimes is a strong safety, but the guy we got to keep an eye on is Dennis. But yeah, and their starter, by the way, is Phil Campbell III. That's their starter today. But look for a lot of Dennis in this ball game for them. But when I look at them, I say the matchups. I'm going to look at defense. It's like these guys are good. I mean, let's make no mistake. These guys are good. We know we will have to come out ready to play because Pittsburgh's very dangerous. In fact, Pickett has completed 60% of his passes. Like I said, 8 touchdowns for 3 picks. He has 1,389 yards passing. But he's more dangerous on the ground. He's their team leader with 5 touchdowns rushing. And he's their second leading rusher with 119 yards. By the way, his 5 rushing touchdowns are most since 2002. Rod Rutherford's 6. Against NC State, he threw for 411 yards and he completed 56% of his passes and accounted for 3 touchdowns, 1 passing. But the more dangerous part is 2 rushing. And that's something we're going to have to watch in this game today. When I look at this team, I told you, this team is dangerous. When we met them last year up there at Hines, up there, let me tell you this. This team, when I look at Pittsburgh, it was their homecoming game. We needed a play late to KJ to win from Jaron. But think about it. Last year, we only had 208 yards total offense and 54 of those rushing. And not to mention the fact that we got the chain out 3 times last year. And I think that was enough in the end to win. Jones had 2 sacks and a fumble in that game. And we hold them to 4 field goals. Let's remember that. Cam had the touchdown run late in the first half in that one. And like I said, the game winner was KJ, from Jaron to KJ on 32 yards with the game winner there. But, yeah, we got to do a lot better. I think we're going to do a lot better today when you look at them. I said, this is a team we're going to have to be aware of. And by the way, when they last came to Hard Rock 2 years ago, Pitt had already won the Coastal, and we blew them out 24-3. And Pittsburgh was ranked. And in that game, we did get the chain out once, but we lost 2 fumbles in that game. We got to do a better job protecting the football today. We have got to do a better job. But the guy we got to watch is Addison. I mean, he is a freshman, and he is making an impact immediately. He has 30 receptions, which leads their team, as well as 3 touchdowns receiving. And he's second on their team with 297 receiving yards. And he's had a TD catch in 3 straight games, including a 75-yarder against NC State. He's 16th nationally and 4th in the ACC in TD catches. And he's 21st in the nation and 4th in the ACC with an average of 6 receptions a game. Just a little side note. Did you know the last freshman to lead Pitt in receiving was Tyler Boyd in 2013? By the way, that year he had 85 receptions for 1,174 yards and 7 touchdowns. And they have another one, by the way, in DJ Turner, who's a grad transfer. He had 186 yards against NC State. And think about this. Under Narduzzi, Pitt has 17 100-yard receiving games. So one thing we have to do, we got to be aware where they are. But I think in this ball game, I think you're going to see the Canes come out with a purpose. We're going to find out a lot about the Canes today, who they are, and is this team really different than in the past? Because in the past, the Canes would absolutely fall apart after a bad loss. Is this the new Miami, as everyone has been saying the last year? Or is this just the same old Canes? I think it's the former. I think the Canes, this is a new Miami. This is a new steam, new system. We have a better quarterback in King. And I think Canes bounce back in a big way today. My prediction, Canes 42, Pittsburgh 17. Back tomorrow with the game wrap-up. Report card and hopefully game balls. Win or lose, go Canes.